Pack your kit and get off my ridge. That's what Gunnery Sergeant Aldrin said to her. Not pulled her aside, not lowered his voice. Said it standing in the middle of the staging area at Fob Harwick, 2 hours before the convoy was scheduled to roll. 4-man team, watching and me watching, from the equipment rack 20 feet away, where I was running a functions check on my rifle. Said it the way you'd tell a stray dog to move off a porch. She was crouched over her drag bag, checking the data card clipped to her scope. She didn't stand up immediately, finished what she was doing, then stood. Gunnery, Sergeant. You heard me. Get your gear and report to the rear element. I'll have Carver backfill your position. Carver was a solid shooter. 600 meters. Maybe 8 on a good day with favorable wind. The position on Ridgeline 7 that she'd been assigned required someone who could reach Crail Pass, road from the North Shelf. A clean 1,400 meters to the choke point, 15-degree downslope, and a cross-canyon draw that pulled wind hard left in the afternoons. I didn't know exactly what she could do at that distance. What I knew was what Aldrin said after she walked away. What Aldrin said was enough for me at 22 years old. Qual's tourist, he told Staff Sergeant Vieira, not quietly. She got that slot off a diversity board and a range day in ideal conditions. I'm not putting a relief convoy's security on a good story. Vieira nodded. I believed the gunny. He'd been in for 19 years. He knew shooters. She didn't argue. That's the part I've thought about most, looking back. She picked up her drag bag, slung it, and walked toward the rear staging area without a word or a backward glance. No anger I could see. No performance of dignity. She just went. The convoy left at 1340. 4 vehicles, medical supplies, and generator parts for Firebase Crane. Crail Pass Road being the only hard surface route through the ridgeline. Ridgeline 7 ran parallel to the northern wall of the pass. It was good ground. Elevation, angle, sightlines clean for 1,000 meters in both directions. We had Carver up there, with his team and 2 additional observation posts staggered south. The plan was sound. 1412, the first contact report came in. Enemy elements had pre-positioned on the south wall of the pass. The wall we hadn't covered because the angle from Ridgeline 7 was wrong for it, and the southern observation posts were too low to reach the firing positions. The convoy halted. The lead vehicle took fire. Then, the second. The dedicated fire support element that was supposed to swing in from the eastern approach had been delayed at a checkpoint. Comms were jammed on their frequency, and they were 6 kilometers out. Its position on 7 could see the road, but couldn't reach the elevation of the south wall. The geometry was wrong by 30 meters of vertical. I was at the F command post, watching the radio. Aldrin was at the window with his binoculars, calling up to Vieira on the ridge. The convoy had gone static in a bad piece of road, rock wall on one side, drop on the other. The drivers had done the right thing and pushed the vehicles tight to the north face for cover. That bought them maybe 12 minutes before the enemy adjusted. I heard the door open behind me. She had her drag bag. Full kit. She walked to the map table, put her finger on a point on the ridgeline survey, and said to Aldrin, "There's a fractured limestone shelf at grid 279er that gives you the south wall angle. It's tight, but it's there. I've already ranged it." Aldrin looked at her, then at the map, then at the radio, which was giving us nothing useful. "The shelf is exposed," he said, "and that cross-canyon draw will kill your dope past a mile. It will pull 9 inches left at some 200 meters in current conditions," she said. "I've already done the correction." He didn't answer. She picked up her drag bag and went out the door. I know exactly when Aldrin decided to follow her up. I know that at some point he picked up his binoculars and walked out of the command post, and I followed him because I didn't have anything useful to do at a radio that wasn't working. We went up the north approach to Ridgeline 7, past Carver's position, and then northeast along the shelf trail to the fractured limestone formation she'd told us about. She was already in position when we got there. Prone on the shelf, pack flat, rifle settled, data card in the dirt, beside her, where she could read it without lifting her head. The angle she was working from was narrow. Maybe 8 feet of usable shelf with a 4-foot lip of limestone on the left for natural cover. Below and ahead was the draw, and beyond it the south wall of Crail Pass, where I could see 3 firing positions with my naked eye once I knew where to look. She was very still. The kind of still that isn't held. It's just how someone is. I heard the convoy on Aldrin's radio. 12 minutes had become 7. The lead vehicle was reporting intermittent fire, pinned, unable to maneuver. First shot broke the quiet so cleanly that for a half second I thought something had snapped loose in the rock. Then I saw, through the binoculars Aldrin handed me, without speaking. The first position on the south wall go still. 53 seconds. The second shot. 38 seconds. The third. The fourth came 58 seconds after that. I was counting because I had nothing else to do with my hands. 2 minutes, 9 seconds. 4 positions. The convoy radio said movement had stopped on the south wall. Then it said the lead vehicle was moving. Then the second. Then all 4. I lowered the binoculars. Aldrin was already glassing the south wall, doing his own damage assessment, his jaw set in a way I hadn't seen on him before. He stayed like that for a long moment after the convoy confirmed it was clear of the pass. Then he lowered his binoculars. He walked to the limestone shelf. She was going through her post-shot routine, marking her data card, checking her chamber. She didn't look up until he stopped 2 feet from her position, and then she looked up the way someone does when they're not surprised. Aldrin came to attention, slow, deliberate, and he saluted her. She returned it. That was all. No words that I could hear. He held it for a full count, longer than regulation requires, and then dropped it, turned and walked back past me without making eye contact. I stood there a moment longer. She had gone back to her data card. I've been asked a few times what I took from that afternoon on the ridge, and I've never had a clean answer. What I know is this. Aldrin requested her by name for his next rotation. I saw the paperwork. He didn't explain it, and nobody asked him to. He'd concluded up there on the shelf. Standing 2 feet from what he'd watched her do, it had changed how he spent his credibility. And credibility, in that world, is the only currency that costs you something real to spend. Think about that sometimes. Not the shots. The walk he took afterward, half a mile, alone, position he'd told her was impossible. And what it takes for a man like that to make that walk. That's the part that stayed with me.